All right, we are live. We are live once again. Good morning. Good morning, everyone. If you're new here, make sure you subscribe to the channel. Smash that like button for me on the way in, or if you like the content, smash that like button. All right. I will be covering the fight this weekend, Canelo versus Plant. All right. But I won't be dropping any more content. If you haven't seen it already, check out the breakdown that I did last week. All right. I did the breakdown a little early. It's already out there. And check that out. All right. It's one of my most recent videos. All right. But definitely subscribe to the channel and hit that like button. Also donate to the channel. I put the little banner up there now with the information. I'm not as high tech as some of the other channels, but I'm learning a little bit bit by bit. So if you can donate to the channel and just donate to your favorite channels, whoever they are. It doesn't even have to be me, but donate to your favorite YouTubers. We put a lot of work and time into this. We all got our lives, our careers, our families, our responsibilities, and we put a lot of time into this. So if you can, shout out to Charles Edward Cheese. Thank you for the donation, man. Thank you, man. It's been a minute, man, but thank you, Charles Edward Cheese, and thank you to all the other people that's donated to the channel. All right, so look, we gonna get right into it today. I've read all of your comments on Canelo and Plant, and I hear what a lot of people are saying. I listen. I got my ears to the streets, and I listen to other channels. And I read their comments too, because I want to know what people are saying out there. There's other people that make content, and even if I don't agree with them, sometimes I like to listen just to get another ear and get another, just an opinion on how this fight is going to go. And then I also want to read the comments because I want to see how people are reacting. I love like just knowing what's going on out there. What's the word? What are people saying about this fight? And from what I'm getting, just about 95% of the people that I've listened to or heard or comments that I read got Canelo winning this one. All right. Most people don't feel like Plant really has that much of a chance. And listen, I've said this for years now. When it comes to fans, right? Fanboys are universal. And that's one thing y'all got to understand. Like, people just select certain fighters and hash out with their fanboys. You got to understand, fanboys are universal. And when I say fanboys, I'm not talking about fans. Fanboys are not rational. They love fighters to the death. It's all emotion to them. They mean something. They're above criticism. I'm not talking about them. There are fans that are rational out there that just love a fighter because of what they do, how they fight. Maybe their character, something, whatever. You got fanboys out there and you got real haters. You got people that really want a fighter to lose because they can't stand them. They might not even dislike the fighter so much. They just might hate their fanboys. Okay? So you got to know when you are involved in this YouTube thing or this boxing community, whether it's YouTube or Twitter or whatever it is, Facebook, whatever platform you are on, or if you're speaking to someone face to face, you got to understand that there are real haters out there and there are real fanboys out there, but there are boxing fans that might just love Canelo or might just dislike him for whatever reasons, because Canelo is not perfect. All right. He's not above criticism, but people got to understand the difference. Okay. There's people in my comments that's calling me a hater and calling me a fanboy at the same time. That happens all of the time. How is that? If you guys been watching me for years, you already would know how I would feel about Canelo. I still get that with Wilder videos. People are new when it comes to me. I got some heavy viewed Wilder videos, and people will still come in and call me a fanboy of Deontay Wilder. That's crazy. Or people call me a hater. But when it comes to this fight here, let's talk about some of the facts. Canelo's coming in with 3 titles. Plant is coming with 1. This is what I respect about Canelo. This is his 4th fight in 11 months. That's major props for that. No matter what you feel about Canelo, step outside that box for 1 second. This is his 4th fight in 11 months. And they're all been in the same division for undisputed. So if he wins against Plant on Saturday, he's going to become undisputed in 11 months. So when people, when I make a video, like the other day, I made a video about a Tank Davis, how these fighters in different divisions don't unify, like 147 or 135 or whatever. Well, 135, they're all unified up. But you guys get what I'm saying. Middleweight. Let's talk about middleweight. 126. Let's talk about 160. Let's talk about 147. This guy fought 4 times in 11 months. The reason why I respect it, not only because he's one of the biggest fighters, he's a star, he's a cash cow of the sport, right? Not only that, but I respect it because you know how much discipline that takes to stay fit and ready within a whole year. How many fighters can you guys name? Just let me know in the comments, because I'm going to talk to you guys. This video is going to be a discussion. I'm going to talk to y'all. I want to read the comments and I want to reply to what y'all saying. How many fighters right now are doing that? There's nobody else doing it. And if there is someone, let me know in the comments who else is doing that at a high level. This is not fanboy talk. This is not hater talk. Get your feelings out of it. How many fighters are doing that right now? Let me know in the comments. If I'm getting it wrong, let me know. It takes a lot of discipline to do that. I bring that up because David Benavidez, I like him. I like David Benavidez. I've said from day one, since this whole 168 thing started, I said I like him I like his chances above everybody else at 168. I liked his, and I like Billy Joe's. I have not changed. I know Billy Joe got his face crushed and everything. I know he got his face punched in, but I still loved his chances. I like the way Billy was boxing in those few rounds leading up to the stoppage. I like the way that he was scrapping. But nothing's changed with me at all. Billy Joe Saunders always likes his chances. Benavidez, I like his chances. But what did I say about discipline? Discipline, we tend to overlook that a lot. We overlook it a lot. We see guys getting fat in between fights. We see fighters getting caught up with the law, right? Getting into all kind of domestic issues and all of this stuff outside of the sport. We got fighters getting involved in, drinking and driving, Errol Spence. We got guys that fought and won titles at a high level, but just couldn't maintain it. And you got Benavidez, who missed weight, lost the title, and was smoking some marijuana, and they stripped him. Now, whether or not you think they should have done it, rules are the rules. It's always been that way. You know, that's my stance with the Sha'Carri Richardson thing. I know that's not boxing, but yo, it is what it is. It is what it is. You got to stay disciplined. Whatever sport you're playing. I don't care. I don't care about what race you are. You got to stay focused, man. You're fighting at the highest level. You're competing at the highest level. So if Benavidez was the champion and Canelo didn't fight him, that would have been a duck. But because he got stripped and his title was available, that's Benavidez' fault. Because to be great in this sport right here, you got to be responsible. You got to be disciplined. You got to not just win the title, but hold on to it. Disciplined. Not blaming everybody else. We can't sit here and say that Canelo is ducking Benavidez when Benavidez don't hold a title. And this guy in 11 months chased his title. He fought one guy that was a mandatory. Did I like that Yildirim was a mandatory? No, but that is the sanctioning body's fault. That's them playing games. There's no reason why that guy should have been a mandatory coming off of a loss. That is a sanctioning body doing what they do. That's not Canelo. If the sanctioning body says, listen, you got to fight this guy or we're going to strip you. Well, then I'm going to fight that guy. That's what you got to do. High C says, let's remember that Canelo failed a drug test and blamed it on the meat he ate in Mexico. No one's forgetting that. No one's forgetting that. But how many fights ago was that? How many drug tests has he taken since that? Some of my favorite fighters of all time has been accused and has failed drug tests. Am I going to just hold it up to two of my top favorite fighters of all time? Sugar Shane Mosley, Roy Jones Jr. They're two of my top 5 favorite fighters of all time. I'm not going to hold it against them forever. Did you fail the drug test after it? He got suspended. They cleared it up. It is what it is. I'm not going to go in 5-6 fights later still talking about it. I'm not. If you guys want to do that, that's cool. But at the end of the day, your boy that failed the drug test off the Mexican meat, he fought 4 times in 11 months. After that, I'm not going to hold it. I'm not going to talk about it for the rest of my channel. If you want to listen to channels that do that, there's channels that do that out there. Go listen to them. If you want to hear about the Mexican meat every single day, go listen to them. But as far as I'm concerned, he's still taking drug tests. He's still taking drug tests. He's taking one for this fight. I'm not going to hold you guys. We're not going to talk about that all day. I'm not one of these dudes. He did what he did. There's fighters that I love. It's too many to name. I'm not going to do that with y'all today. Now, if he happens to beat Plant on Saturday and he pops 30 after, then we have a problem. But until then, that was the past. That was before the Triple G rematch. That was before it. So it is what it is. I'm not going to ignore it. I acknowledge it. I spoke about it when it happened. But he ain't the only one. He's not. He's not the only one. Caleb Plant. I like him. I like Caleb Plant, by the way. I even like what he says. Yo, I like the way he sells the fight. I like the fact that he brings up the drug testing. I like the fact that he's trying to rattle Canelo by saying it. I like that. He's promoting himself. He has to say what he has to say. If he's, I read comments on his videos and his interviews and people get at him because, he sounds like he's being delusional. You don't have the resume. And I agree with all of that stuff. But the guy is supposed to be confident in himself. Like, why are people getting mad that he's being confident in himself? Why are people getting mad that he's bringing up stuff that's happened? You know, why are people getting mad that, you know, he's bringing up guys like Lara and Floyd and all these other fighters that Canelo has struggled with in the past? He's supposed to be that way. You got to be confident. You have to be confident. You got to sell yourself. You got to make people believe that you do stand a chance. He's doing exactly what he's supposed to be doing. Now, do I think he's going to win? No. I don't think he's going to win. But he's supposed to be confident. He's supposed to make us believe that he's going to win this fight. He's not supposed to go in there and lay down. That's what he's saying in the press conference. He's not supposed to go in there and lay down for Canelo. Give us all you got. Give us the best Caleb Plant that we've ever seen. And that's what I'm expecting. Do I think it's going to be enough? No. But I'm still going to be watching a fight, excited. It's undisputed. You know, he's undefeated. I'm going to watch the fight. Shout out to Eddie Morales. Thank you for that donation. These snack athletes has also been popping dirty. They should keep the same energy. Exactly. Now, Caleb Plant has not popped dirty. So that's the way we're moving here. I'm not going to go with the group. Excuse me. I don't do that. This is not my style. That's not the way I move. So when it happened with Oscar Valdez and when it happened with Canelo, I didn't go at the group. I just didn't. There's no content of me doing that. Everybody else ran and did it. That's just not my style. If you get popped dirty, then we talking about you. Now, we know the history behind the snack thing. You know, we know who's running it. All right. So, okay, I see where people going with it. It's a great comment. But if the man never popped dirty, and if he doesn't pop dirty, I don't have no problems with Caleb Plant. That's just the way I move. Shout out to Kano Local Sports. Salute. That's just the way I move. He ain't pop dirty. So I don't care who if he's with Snack and his stuff, their product is approved, I don't have a problem with him. Because he ain't pop dirty. That's just the way I move. Now, Caleb Plant, I like him. I just don't know what he brings. I watched him plenty of times, and I'm just not impressed. And I think the fact that he hasn't fought great opposition, it really, really stands out with him. Because it's not that he just didn't fight the great guys. It's the way the fights look when he's fighting them. Like I told you guys before, Uzcategui, pound for pound, if we're not talking about weight, you know, we're not talking about divisions and stuff. If you compare him to the rest of Canelo's opponents, I would say that Canelo has fought at least 12 fighters that is at his level or better. Right? Now, we know styles make fights. Styles make fights. I understand that. But Caleb Plant's style is no different from what we've seen in the past. Like I heard Caleb Plant say, I fought guys like him before. Where? Where did you fight guys like Canelo? That's no fanboy shit. That's just, I'm asking. Let me know in the comments. Where? Who was like Canelo? Did you spar with someone like that? Did you fight in the streets with someone like that? Who did you fight? Because we didn't see it. I'm still waiting for that. D, thank you for the donation. Who would have won if Triple G and Pirogue actually fight? I'm glad you brought up Pirogue because I was going to bring him up in this video, but just in a minute. But you know what? I'll answer your question. I don't know, but I'm telling you that before Triple G got to Daniel Jacobs, Pirog would have definitely been by far his best opponent. And if Triple G would have lost to anyone leading up to those last few tough fighters that he fought, it would have been to Pirog. But I wanted to bring him up in this video, and I will. I'll give you a minute. Yeah, man, where do we see it? Where do we see it? Because I've seen a lot of Caleb Plants on Canelo's resume. I don't see many Canelos on his resume. You know what I'm saying? And again, shout out to D-Style Boxing. What up, bro? Again, it's not the fact that it's not just that Plant hasn't fought the best, because we saw that with Shakur Stevenson. Somebody said in a little comment, how do you compare Shakur Stevenson and Jamel Herring to Canelo and Plant? Well, I was making an example. I wasn't comparing them particular, but that's a fanboy. That was a fanboy that left that comment. What I was trying to say is sometimes when fighters step up in opposition, we see the really best of them. So we'll see them fight in a way where, like Shakur leading up to that Jamel Herring fight, he wasn't really stopping nobody, right? But he fights his toughest challenge and stops him. So there's levels. He could bring it up another notch when it's time to. And he proved that. Doesn't make him a KO artist or anything, but when he stepped up, he fought better, right? Because he was on a mission. He was out there to prove something. These other fights, no, he was just showing us that he can win every round against everyone. So Caleb Plant, I'm expecting the best because now he has to fight someone that's really, really good. But see, when Caleb Plant was fighting Uzcategui, right? When he was fighting guys like him, who was a champion, he won. But how good was the win? I don't like how he looks late in fights. Even against Truax, who had no energy, who was burnt out, an older fighter, an older D-level fighter. I don't like the way he looks I don't like his body language. MRD Lock, what's up, Wave? Do you think Plant joining the World Boxing Super Series would have helped somewhat with his experience? I think him missing out was huge. I mean, look, we could go both ways with it because he missed out, but at the same time, what if he had lost fighting Callum Smith or who was there? Who else was there at the time? Who did Callum Smith beat at the end? He beat the boy that Carl Froch beat twice. What's his name? Let me know his name. I can't get in a brain freeze real quick. Who did he lose to in the finals? You know. Also, he would have had to face guys. Plant would have had to face guys like Eubank Jr. You know, he would have had to face some real stiff competition. So he might have not. George Groves, thank you, George Groves. Yeah, get those likes up. Get those likes up. So he would have lost to people like George Groves, or he would have fought people like George Groves, or he would have fought guys like Eubank Jr. or Callum Smith. He would have had to step up in opposition, and it would have been a risk of losing. That was probably my least favorite World Boxing Super Series, by the way. I mean, it wasn't bad. It was just my least favorite, me personally. You know, if you look at some of the other divisions like 118, if you look at who else? I think 140 had it. Cruiserweight had it a couple of times. That was my least favorite one because it didn't involve a lot of people like some of the other divisions did. You know, but let me get some of this coffee real quick. Getting back to my point, I don't like the way Caleb Plant looks late in fights, and a guy that's supposed to be defensive. You know, once he tires out, he's not that slick. He takes a lot of hits. All right, he took a lot of hits from Uzcategui. If you can, and I did this last night, even though I've seen the fight several times already. Go back to the Uzcategui fight and just watch from the 8th round. Or start at the 7th round and watch the rest of the fight. I do that sometimes because I want to see how people look in the championship rounds. And to me, Uzcategui won the championship rounds to me. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes you got to look at everything like that. You can't just look at the stances, the southpaws, and all that. Sometimes you got to look how a fighter looks in the championship rounds. I don't like how he looks in the championship rounds. You know, One Foot Out the Door says, how bad will Caleb's adrenaline dump be? The magnitude of the fight. I mean, we're going to have to wait and see. But I don't think it's going to hold up. I just don't. I don't believe it'll hold up. You know why? Because, and thanks for the donation again, Callum Plant hasn't fought a pressure fighter. Even when he fought Uzcategui, who was the best pressure fighter he fought, Uzcategui was tired as well. But his gas tank was better than Plant. I seen Plant lunging in the hold in the 12th round. I seen him get rocked with a right hand in the 11th and 10th rounds. Now, a fighter is going to get hit. It's not a big deal, but there was a major decrease in stamina from the earlier rounds, the first 3 or 4 rounds, compared to the last 7 or so, or 6 or 7 rounds. It was a major difference. Even in a Truax fight, Truax, who's older and is a D-level fighter, those guys, Plant didn't look that high against them. Yes, you win. Yes, you win every round. You might get a shutout. But how good do you look winning? All of these guys that Canelo beat coming into the fight, all of these guys, they were still more experienced, you know? Like Saunders. I think Saunders better. I think Saunders is better. Saunders been in there with Eubank Jr. You know what I'm saying? Saunders been in there with a few guys. He been in there with David Lemieux. He been in there with some killers. So I gotta give him something, some kind of credit. Yeah, I seen Smith with Buddy McGirt. I seen him with Buddy McGirt. I seen his last fight. He looked good. I want to see what he could, really continue doing. But again, D says the magnitude got to Chip G early in his first fight. Well, it did, but he did so much better in the second fight. The whole game plan was different. And we're going to talk about that too. Saunders. I think Saunders is better than Plant. Yes. I'm going to double down on that. I think Saunders is better than Plant. I think he has a lot more to offer than Caleb Plant. And I think if that fight continued, then it would have been a closer fight on the cards. Now, he got rocked at a time where the momentum was actually in his favor when he got caught. But I think Saunders and I think Plant is going to get hit with the same exact shot. I think Plant is going to lean right into the same counter punch, and the same thing is going to happen to him. But it's probably going to happen even earlier. And I'm double downing on that. Now, Callum Smith, the thing with Callum Smith is I don't think he's as skilled. I don't think he was as skilled as Plant. But I also think that he was a bigger guy, and he probably was a lot more durable. He can take the shots a lot better than a Saunders and than a Plant would. That's just my opinion. I don't know. We didn't see the fight yet. But Callum Smith was able to take the punishment better than Kovalev did, than Saunders did. And better than what I think Plant is going to be able to take, because he's a big guy at 168. He's a really big guy at 168. So he was able to take the punishment for 12 rounds. But I don't think he's a better boxer than Plant. But he's a lot more durable, And I think that is what that's what I think, the difference between him and Plant. Now, Benavidez, the reason why I like Benavidez is that because Benavidez has the volume. has, you know, has the power, you know, can box. Not great defensively, but he's a banger. He can box and he can brawl. You know what I'm saying? And he's a big man at 168 too. So I think he would pose a bigger threat than Caleb Plant, in my opinion. You know? Soccer Training Club, thank you for the donation, bro. Thank you. Appreciate it. Would you agree Canelo's pressure, stamina, and power will be the key to victory? Yeah, of course. Absolutely. Canelo's pressure is going to be the biggest problem. Yo, listen. And thanks again. I'm going to leave your comment up real quick. Let's talk about the Triple G rematch real quick. That fight was one of the most highest level fights that we got in the past decade. No cap. I'm serious. That was one of the most highest level fights that we got in the past decades, because we got two pound for pound fighters in a phone booth fight. Both fighters want to pressure. Both fighters is taking big shots, jabs, all kind of hits, all fight long for 12 whole rounds straight. No one got dropped, but they're taking huge punishment. Both ending the fight, going into the corners, raising their arm, bleeding from the side of their eye. Both cut. Two highly level fights. Those are the fights that make you better. You know why Canelo is running through these guys at 168? Because he survived Triple G in that rematch. That's why he's running through these guys at 168. You know why it's so easy for him to be smaller and is walking towards Kovalev like the way he did? Because Kovalev, at the end of the day, when Kovalev was in his prime, he got dropped by Triple G in sparring. He got dropped by Triple G. But Canelo was able to walk right through Triple G, taking jabs, taking hooks, taking body shots, taking uppercuts, taking combinations, and was still coming forward. What is Plant going to do to keep this dude off him? What is he going to do? What have you seen him do? Pick a fight. Let me know. Well, you going to tell me about what he did against Vincent Fighting Boots? Oh, Wave, yo, you crazy. You ain't see that Fighting Boots fight? You ain't see what he did to that kid, Mike Lee? He's going to pepper him up just like he did against Mike Lee. Mike who? Did you see what Canelo? Did you see Canelo walk through Triple G's shots the whole time? That is why he's running through Kovalev, Smith, Billy Joe Saunders. He's not going to have enough. And then he got on top of that. Show me a fight where Plant didn't have time to think. I said this to you guys on a breakdown the other day. Like, I don't think certain things register. When has Plant had a fight where he didn't have time to think? Every single fight, the pace was slow, which favors him. Every single fight. Every single one. You know, and let me say something too. You like, and I bring up Triple G because of the pressure with Canelo. I think Canelo has been I think he's turned into a full-blown pressure fighter at this point. Like that's what he is. He's a calculated pressure fighter. That is what he is at this point. Let me look something up because I can't remember his name right now. But I'll never forget. Was it Darnell? No, it wasn't Darnell Boone. There was a guy, there was a boxer. You guys, one of you guys might remember who exactly who I'm talking about. Who was the fighter that made a video basically sparring Like he sparred. Maybe there was a video. I don't know. Maybe Darnell Boone did it, but there was a fighter that basically compared Triple G's power to Kovalev's power to Ward's power to like all of the top like 168, 175 guys from Triple G and up, and basically said that Triple G's power was like the most destructive by far, even though he was down at 160. You guys, is anyone here not this video here? Remember who I'm talking about in that interview that I'm talking about? If you do, just let me know in the comments. I'll be checking out. I'll be checking for it. I can't remember. I don't know. It might have been Darnell Boone, but you know, people like to, you know, I know Triple G didn't fight everybody that wanted him to fight, but he did all right. All right. I did want to see him fight Andrade. The real Merc said he thinks it was Boone. It might have been Boone. It might have been Boone. I can't. There's Boone and there's another guy that was always fighting everybody else. And it was a black fighter. And there was another guy that was fighting everybody from like 54 up to like 175. So I might be getting confusing Boone with him. But anyway, I say that to say this. Triple G's power was real. And you've heard it from guys that's actually been in there with all of those guys. And he was only at 160. And for Canelo to just walk through his punches in that rematch like that took a lot. And this is part of the reason why I don't think Plant is a threat. I just don't think it. I don't see him being a threat, a real threat. You know, he's a very good boxer, but you need to come down and sit down with something. You can't just be outscoring until you get burnt out and then now you're surviving. I don't, that's what I see in his fights. You know, that's what I see in him. His gas tank is not that good. And he takes way too many hits in the championship rounds of his fights, of his best fights. Porky Medina shouldn't have went 12 with him, especially that Porky Medina had a bad knee and a brace on his knee. Caleb Truax shouldn't have went 12 rounds with him. Caleb Truax was stopped by. Is Caleb Plant better than Daniel Jacobs, y'all? That's another thing I wanted to ask you. Is he better than Daniel Jacobs? And if he is, explain. Based on what? You know, I said that the other day, and I said something about Danny Jacobs and how he did well against Canelo as far as, yes, he clearly lost the fight. I'm not saying he won, but it was more competitive than a lot of these fighters up at 168. Is Plant better than Danny Jacobs? What are we basing? If he is, what are we basing that on? Exactly. What are we doing? They have a fighter in common, and Danny Jacobs beat. I believe that I think that if I'm correct, Danny Jacobs beat Calvin Truax before even James DeGale lost to him. Let me go and check real quick. Danny Jacobs knocked out Calvin Truax in 2015. And James DeGale lost him in 2018. Now, if we're basing it on Danny's last performance, then I can see why people would think Plant would win. That's cool. But Jacobs at 160 against Triple G, against Canelo, I don't know. Remember, he lost his coach. Maybe he needed his coach back. Him and his coaches together again. Maybe Jacobs will look like Danny Jacobs again, but he didn't look good in his last couple fights. Maybe that has to do with the fact that his trainer that's been with him since day one wasn't present. Maybe that had a little bit to do with it. All right. But listen, we're not going to make any excuses. All I'm trying to say is I think after the end of this fight, when this is all said and done, Danny Jacobs is going to look better than Caleb Plant. I guarantee it. And listen, if I'm ever wrong, you guys have the right. You guys could come right back to my channel, hit the thumbs down, clown me, leave comments, say I gotta eat crow. Y'all gotta say what you have, whatever it is you want to say. But I don't think Plant has much of a chance of winning this fight. I just don't. What is he bringing different than what we ever seen? And the thing is, those fights, when people bring up Floyd, Lara, who said Pirogue was a bum? Dangerous has been knocked out before by Pirogue and knocked down by a soft-fisted Sergio Mora. Jacobs isn't defensively sound. Okay. All right. Well, Canelo didn't knock him down. And Triple G barely won that fight against him. Sergio Mora dropped him with a mistake he made, if we're being honest. All right. And Pirogue was very good. Like, we can't. Pirogue was never able, we were never able to see his real potential. So Pirogue might have been the best middleweight and we don't know it. He stopped Daniel Jacobs, right? He knocked out Daniel Jacobs and then he had to retire due to an injury. So we don't even know how good Pirogue is. But being that, he stopped Jacobs, and Jacobs was able to come back and do and accomplish all the things that he accomplished, fighting all the fighters that he didn't meet. He knocked out Peter Quillen in one round. Now, I know Peter Quillen might not, he didn't end his career being no world beater. He didn't. But at the time, he was Showtime's champ. He was undefeated. He had a very high KO ratio. He had a better resume going into the Jacobs fight than Danny Jacobs did. Now, him being knocked out by Pirogue, we don't know how great he was. But I personally think that Pirogue would have been the best challenge for Triple G. I don't know if he would have beat Triple G, but he would have been the best challenge for Triple G at 160. I thought he was the best other fighter at 160 until he had to go. There was Triple G and it was him, but he wasn't around long because as soon as he got that biggest win, he had to get out. He had to get out the game. So there's no telling how good Pirogue was. We're basing that on what? But I'm saying all this and I'm bringing up all these fighters. Let me see this question around. Hi, BoxingWave, London, England calling. Whose career do you feel you respect more? Floyd Jr., Canelo, Ali, Marcia. Come on, man. Deandro Sugar Ray Ross. Like, all right, look. All right. Sugar Ray Robinson. All right. I respect the most out of this group right here. Like, as far as respect, I would say Sugar Ray or it's between him and Ali. All right. I mean, Sugar Ray and Ali is on a different. So let's like remove those two. I have major respect for all the other three, Floyd, Canelo, and Marciano. All right. I think Marciano, again, he did a lot, very short career. You know what I'm saying? Like, he did what he did. I brought him up in a recent video. He did what he did when I was talking about heavyweights and comparing them all the time. He did what he did. But I have Sugar Ray and Ali above him. Floyd, much respect, for what he's done to the sport. Great boxer, one of the best technically sound fighters of all time. And Canelo, especially if he is to win undisputed, much respect for him too. Winning titles in different divisions. Definitely, I mean, they're all great, but I think Ray Robinson and Ali is in a different space for me personally. All right. But good question. But Ray and Ali, I have them in a different space. Like they're in the they're like in a god tier level, whereas there's only a few people up there. You know what I'm saying? And then I think right under that tier, Marciano's and Canelo is probably in that list too, especially if he wins this Saturday. All right. Krista says, I'm sleep on Callan Plant. Plant is very athletic, agile, and has a world-class jab, and is long. These apple juice combined will exploit Canelo's lack of foot speed, and he could. All right, but that's another thing too. His lack of foot speed is not as slow as it was. Again, I think he's improved dramatically on that. All right. I think a lot of fighters expose his lack of foot speed years back. Years back. Even Billy in his last fight was exposing a little bit of it, a little bit. But Canelo was still able to get to him. And I think Canelo has improved on that. Just like you think I'm sleeping on Caleb Plant and his athleticism and his ability, I think you are sleeping on the Canelo's ability to close the gap and get in, you know, because I think he's improved dramatically on that. And people don't say this. Like, you know what I hear a lot? I hear a lot of things that were definitely true years back when Canelo had these fights where he struggled in. All right. Canelo has increased his foot speed, and he has great head movement. You know what I'm saying? He's able to connect and catch up to these guys in a way that he wasn't able to do it before. And Plant, you got to understand, Plant looks great, athletic, very early in the fights. Again, this is part of the reason why I think Plant is going to get destroyed Saturday. Because he is going to slow down. Because he's never been pressured that way before. He's never had to deal with a guy that was given. When you say he has the athleticism and the foot speed and the jab and the world-class jab, that sounds real good in the first 3 or 4 rounds. That sounds real good when fighters that you're facing are no danger to you. Like Truax, who is his second best fighter on his resume. Caleb Truax. That sounds real good until you fight a real pressure fighter that's not giving you the time to look so pretty. Uzcategui is not Canelo Alvarez. You're crazy if you think that. He's not even close. Who, the guy that just got caught juicing? That guy? All right, Christian, come back Saturday, Christian. Come back Saturday, Christian. Come back Saturday, Christian. That's all I got to say. But I disagree with you. Respectfully. Respectfully. But come back Saturday. Do you think Ward versus Canelo happens? I think it does. Ward is waiting for the right moment to be an ace on or even kneel or even kill. I've never liked this whole idea of Ward coming back. I never liked it. I don't like it, you know. And then going straight into a fight with Canelo, neither. I don't like it, you know. I think that if Ward was at 168, he would have beaten Canelo. You know, I think he was going to beat Triple G if they were to fight too, you know. And that's why Triple G wasn't too fond of fighting him, you know. Nerd, thank you for the donation, by the way. My bad. But yeah, I don't like the idea of this Ward thing, you know. I mean, he might come back, but I don't think he can do enough to beat Canelo on the cards right now. You know, I'm still kind of disappointed that Ward didn't shoot for Undisputed when he was one title away from it. You know, I think that would have been an excellent way to exit. But, you know, Adonis Stevenson was very dangerous too. You know, arguably more dangerous than Kovalev. Who knows? All right, but because those two never fought. Kovalev and Stevenson never fought. But I don't like this whole idea of Ward coming back. You know, I just it's not for me. But if he does come back, I am leaning towards Canelo. I think Ward comes back. I think I would like to see him in at least one, if not two fights before, but that would just be, I don't know how that would work. It's I don't know. I don't know. I'm not into it, man. I'm not into it clearly, and I love Andre Ward. I think Andre Ward would have beat him. I would have if he was more in his prime. You know, but not now. Not now. Justin G, thank you for the donation. War is not going to risk an L. He has had his time. Yeah, I'm not buying it, man. I'm not buying it, man. I think. I mean, you know what? The reason why it is a chance that he may come back because of the money that he can make. Canelo's at a point now where he's selling 70,000, uh, arenas with 70,000 seats, tickets. So it's definitely worth it now because, to be honest, and I know Ward made good money outside of those in those what's it called, the Kovalev fights, but he probably could make a lot more right now fighting Canelo. So if he's able to come back, then yeah, I mean, that would be cool, but I just don't know, man. I don't know, man. Thank you for the donation though, Justin. I don't think he's gonna do it. I don't think he's gonna do it. And I think he does really care about his legacy and that having that undefeated record. I think he cares a lot about that. You know what I'm saying? Like this guy, left when he was still healthy, he was good, he was fresh, he didn't have to leave, and he left when he was one title away. I just don't like when fighters do it. I didn't like when Canelo moved up and didn't sort that whole the IBF situation. I know he got stripped and everything, and I know he blamed what's his face, Oscar De La Hoya for it. But that's one of the biggest criticisms of me. Like, if you're chasing undisputed, do what you have to do to make sure you get those belts in order. And it wasn't done at 160, and he eventually moved up, and he eventually distanced himself from Oscar. All right, but whatever it is, I don't think Ward is gonna come back. All right, I don't think Ward is gonna do it. You know, uh, nerd is adamant that it's going to happen. Yeah, I don't know, man. I think Ward really cares for his record, but there's a part of me too that I think Ward really feels that he can beat him. And I don't think Ward is a fan of him at all. Just based on his commentary. Uh, But yeah, my official prediction, I don't know if you guys have the breakdown, but I'm looking for a stoppage somewhere in between the 7th and 9th rounds. I think Caleb is going to show and display a lot of heart. So he's not going to just go down, but I just don't think he's going to be able to take the punishment, and I think after a few rounds, I think he's going to look really I think he's going to look good early, but I just don't think he's going to be able to deal with Canelo's pressure. And I think the body shots is really what is going to be the problem with Plant. I mentioned the overhand rights also, all right, because he doesn't keep his hands up, and he just doesn't. He doesn't keep his hands up. I think he's going to get hit with some overhand rights, but I also think that he has to worry about those body shots too. Plant likes to place himself on the ropes. I know he can move well, but he's not going to always be moving. He likes to set traps, and that's part of his style. And he's not going to have the time to think, and that's what I keep saying to you guys. He needs time. And he hasn't fought guys that has prepared him for a fight like this. Yeah, some people do just hate Canelo and they just say whatever. I mean, listen, if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. I tell people that all the time. If I'm wrong, come back and you can slander me in the comments. I'm all good with it. But I'm very confident. I mean, I've even, I don't really gamble or anything like that, but I made a couple bets with friends over this fight, and the people that I made bets with are people that just hate Canelo. They hate him. And they just feel like, Plant is the one. But they felt like Saunders was the one. They felt like Kovalev was the one. They felt like a lot of people were the one to do it. You know, they felt like Triple G was going to definitely be the one, you know, and I think Triple G won. But, you know, the second fight was really, really close in my eyes. But I do respect them. I better BF or Bivol versus Nello. I'm gonna still probably, you know, I think by the time he gets in the ring with those guys, I'm probably gonna lean towards Canelo. I really honestly don't feel like the guys at 168 or even 175 right now will be able to get the job done and clearly beating Canelo. I always loved the idea of him fighting Bivol. I've been wanting that fight for a while, and once he was able to go up to 175, I wanted that Bivol fight. Better BF was the guy that's proven to be the king at 175 though. But I I don't know. I gotta see how Better BF is something about him that makes me unsure about him. And it's probably because of the injuries that he's always have. He's like very injury prone. I just don't feel like Better BF is gonna be in elite shape forever. You know, I just don't feel like I feel like by the time Canelo gets to him, I think he's gonna be clearly past it a little bit. You know what I'm saying? And he might already been showing signs of the inactivity in his career. And I know he came in as a pro and he started fighting some of the older, like washed up guys at 175 that were top guys, but he's been plagued with injuries and inactivity. And I feel like by the time Canelo gets to him, I don't think he's going to be as good. I don't think he's going to be the better BF that fought Vozick. You know what I'm saying? And Bivol, I like Bivol's chances, but I don't know if it's going to be enough. But I do think Bivol is much better than the guys at 168. Yeah. I like Bivol's chance against Canelo over Plant, Saunders, Smith, and even Benavidez. As far as Better BF and Brown, I have Better BF. But again, if Brown is catching him at a time where he's already on a downhill, he might have a shot. But Brown's chin has always been really questionable. And if Better BF tags him really good, I could see him stopping Brown. You know what I'm saying? Brown's always had a suspect chin. He's always been kind of chinny. And that's my guy and everything. But I think Brown is a great boxer. I think he boxes beautifully, but when he gets chin checked, it always changes the pace of the fight, man. It's been that way for some time too. What's up, Boxing Gen? You think Plant lasts 1 or 2 more rounds? I mean, yeah, that's cool. That's cool. I'm thinking, I still think that at the earliest it'll be the 7th. At the latest, I'm thinking. I think I said 8 to 10 originally, but now I'm rolling with 7 to 9. All right. Better BS pressure could cause Nello issues. He's a strong dude. Yes, he is. He's very powerful. And again, you know, I think it's all about preparation leading up to the big fights, you know, and Canelo, you got to give him pushback. Like if he were to fight Better BF, you got to keep the fight in the center of the ring. You can't allow yourself to be pressured because that's how you look worse. That's what happened in the Triple G first fight. Triple G was the one pressuring Canelo. I think when Canelo gave him some pushback and kept it in the center of the ring, like I'm not backing up. That's when Canelo looks at his best, and he's looked at he's fought that same way with every opponent since that fight. Yeah, that's his new style. So if he's able to get in there with Better BF and stand there and like hold his ground, stand his ground, and just fight him and see who's the better boxer between the two, then he has a great chance. All right. Again, it's all about timing. You know, I don't know when Canelo's actually going to go up to 170 because Jamal Charlo just said that he wants the winner of this fight. Now, you know, this whole thing with Jamal, you know, again, I don't know what's going on with that. I don't know if PBC and Showtime has done maybe some background talks about future fights before Canelo goes back to the zone or whatever, because Canelo's pretty much free to go and fight where as he pleases. But Jamal Charlo, if he is going to fight Canelo, is he going to move up to 168 to fight Canelo? You know, that's the questions I have. I know Canelo's not coming back down to 160. Is he going to go to fight 168 and fight Canelo? And at this point, it's going to be based on the bag. Like, how much money is a PBC and Showtime going to throw at Canelo for him to take that fight? You know, I want to see that fight. You know, I wanted to see the Andre fight. I still want to see the Benavidez fight a lot. All those are good fights. You know, they're all good fights. Is Canelo going to go up straight up to 175 if he wins? You know, what if Plant do win? What if Canelo Plant? I haven't talked about that because I've been talking so much about how I don't think he has a shot. What if Plant wins the fight? Well, if he wins, obviously there's gonna be some sort of immediate rematch. To be honest, man, if Plant were to win, and I don't think he will, but if he were to win, you know, I think he would have to hurt Canelo. I think something would have to happen that we're not expecting. Because people keep saying he has to outbox, he has the skill to talent to outbox Canelo. I think he would have to hurt Canelo, to be honest. You know, that's just my opinion. I think he would have to hurt Canelo, and we rarely really see Canelo hurt. We seen a little hurt in the Triple G fight. I remember him getting hurt against Jose Cotto back in the day, but it's been a really long time. Like, Canelo has another one. He has one of the best chins in boxing. You know, he's very well rounded. If Canelo Alvarez wins undisputed, what would be a reason for him to keep fighting? What other purpose would he find to continue since undisputed has been his goal? Money. 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 I mean, money. I don't know what else to say. Is there stuff that can he still accomplish more? Yeah. To be honest, I think after getting undisputed, I don't think there's any fight that would make. I don't think there's any possible rival right now for Canelo. I think Triple G was a real rival. I think Canelo needs a rival. He doesn't have a real rival right now. And since the Triple G thing is over, you know, I don't know if he's going to fight Triple G a third time. As good as those first two fights were, I'm not really looking forward to a third fight with Triple G because I think he can definitely beat Triple G at this point and possibly stop him now, you know, because Triple G is only older. He'll be in his 40s at that time. All right. But Yusuf, thank you for the donation. Jamal should fight Boo Boo and try to unify. If Plant wins, that would make him an instant superstar. Yes, it would. Yes, it would. Yes, it would. You know, if Plant wins, it would make him a star. And then Canelo will have to rematch him. And if Canelo can't win the rematch, do y'all think? Let me ask y'all a question. I want y'all to answer this. Do y'all think Plant can beat him on the cards? And what I mean by that, I don't mean by you think he won the fight. I think, do you think that Plant can beat him soundly enough to win the judges? I'm not talking about your opinion. I'm just saying it. Do you think he can beat him? Like, if Plant wins this fight, how do you see it happening? Like, how do you see it happening? Do you see him hurting Canelo, stopping Canelo, beating him soundly on the cards and the judges? What do you think? Juan Davis says yes, if he bags several rounds early and maintains a pace throughout the fight. Charlie said UD. So Sincere says absolutely not. Yeah, Sergio says no. If Triple G couldn't, why would he? I personally don't think Triple G. I don't think Plant can do better than Triple G. Just my opinion. Clearly, I don't think that. PBC judges are been really flaky. Man, judges been really flaky everywhere. Period. Judges are flaky. All right. Look, I think Plant would have to clearly win. I know this is on a PBC platform. Okay. I don't know if that is going to have anything to do with it. You know, I don't like doing all of the judges talk because I would like to go in there with an open mind and think that they're going to do the right thing. But this is boxing. All right. If the fight is close, which is possible, if the fight is close, do you think that because this is on a PBC platform that it's going to lean towards Plant's favor? Or do you guys even think that this being on the judges is bigger than the platform that they're fighting on? You know, because somebody made a comment about this the other day, and they said that, well, Canelo's no longer protected because he's no longer with Oscar. What do you guys think about that? See, I don't know. You know, I don't know how it works. Like, I know boxing is very corrupt, but in every given situation, I don't know where the corruption comes from. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. And I'm not a conspiracy theorist near. So I don't know. You know, I know this fight is out in Vegas. You know, I know Canelo is the cash cow of the sport. You know what I'm saying? So if this fight, let's just say this fight is over and it goes to the decision, and the most of us that's watching this, we like, I don't know, that fight was close. It could go either way. I got 7-5 for Plant. I got 7-5 Canelo. I think it was a draw. You know, what do you think? What do you think the fight is going to go? Is it going to go in Plant's favor because it's on his platform, or is it going to go in Canelo's favor? Because if it's on, I mean, to be honest, I could see it going like this. I could see it going in Plant's favor because if the PBC is putting up the money for this fight, right? If they put the money up for this fight and the fight is close, I see them giving it to Plant because it's going to make a rematch and they're going to make a lot more money again, right? If they are making the money. That's another question. Canelo wanted a lot of money up front. Is it worth it? Regardless, they already agreed on a rematch if Canelo is to lose his fight. You know, but they would probably want to host another rematch, right? And then when it comes to Canelo Alvarez, well, he's a cash cow. We don't want him losing because we want to keep making money out of him. We don't know what kind of backdoor stuff that's going on. We don't know what parties agreed on. We don't know. We don't know. We just have to wait and see. That's why I try not to predict what the judges are going to score because I don't know how the fight is going to go. You know, you never know. Maybe these guys have a huge clash of heads early on and there's a cut that alters the way this fight is going to go. That's very, very possible. You never know. You know, there are headbutts, there are things that happen that make the fight go a different way. Guys slip, injure their leg. You never know. You never know. All right. I really don't know. And that's why I try not to make content where I'm just throwing mad conspiracies out there, like, yo, this is gonna happen. See, the judge this and the ref that, the ref might you never know. We don't know how the fight is gonna go. All right. Just my opinion. Frankie says Canelo busted Callum Smith's arm and busted Saunders' cheekbone. Yeah, I mean, Canelo was fighting real gritty with Callum. He's bullying a bigger man and stuff, bullying him, just hitting him on all places, hitting him all around. All right. But look, listen, the fight is this Saturday. I should be covering it live. If I don't get on early, I'll definitely get on in enough time to jump on. I really just think that Callum Plant, in order for him to win this fight, he would have to fight the perfect match. He would have to know, like he would have to. And I know, Leo, I did not look up who the judges and refs going to be, but he would have to fight Plant the perfect match. He definitely would have to keep. I think a really good condition Caleb Plant, a guy that's there to fight 12 rounds, full 12 rounds with the pressure, dealing with the pressure, being able to continue to move and keep Canelo on his jab and set the traps right. If he can do that for 12 full rounds, then I think that would make the fight very debatable. But if he can't and the pressure gets to him, which I'm expecting, which is my call, I don't think he's going to be able to do it. I think it's going to take more than just what he's offered in his fights. And plus, as defensively slick as he is, I don't think he can hold it up for too long. I'm expecting Canelo to land and Canelo to hurt him. All right. And that's why I think he's going to win the fight. I think Canelo's just going to be too much with that pressure. Again, Plant hasn't fought in a way where he was really getting pressured, really getting pressured, getting hit hard shots from angles that he didn't see coming. I wish he would have fought more top guys fighters. So if he did, I would have a better understanding of where this would go as far as what he's capable of. All right. But I haven't seen him fight a real gritty fighter yet. It's just too much of a gap between who he's faced than going straight to Canelo. It's just too much of a gap. We will see the best Plant. Absolutely. We will see a best Plant, but we're going to see a consistent Canelo who's always showing up in every single fight. And that's why that's why I rate him so high. I rate him high because this is his 4th fight in 11 months. The guy is active and he's making a lot of money. He's fighting like a fighter that's broke. You get me? He's fighting like he's hungry and he's broke and he needs the money. He's fighting like he owes somebody that money. And no one else is doing that. Not on this level. No one in this level is doing it. No one in the elite level is doing it. No one in the pound for pound area. The top 20 or 30 fighters. Nah. Plant made a comment saying that they had the right judges. Plus, I'm from the South, so I'm riding with Caleb regardless. And that's cool. You can ride with whoever you ride with. Listen, Caleb Plant, I really don't have nothing against him. It's just more about a prediction with me. I like Caleb. He had a rough story. His story is really, really rough. And for a guy like that to win and overcome the things he's went through, that would be great. That's a great success story. You know what I'm saying? Beating, what many of us regard as the best fighter in the world to come in and do that would be a huge accomplishment. You know what I'm saying? So, that would be a great accomplishment. I have nothing against the brother. You know, I hope he, you know, does his best. But as far as like as a fan, I'm not really rooting for anyone. I just want it to be a good fight, and I'm just happy that it's a damn undisputed fight. You know, and then really, Yusuf says, I like Plant, but honestly, he has no one in his resume that prepared him for Canelo. I wish Plant had fought Charlo and Benavides. And I agree with that. But then he would have been risking his O. Those kind of fights are risky fights for him. You know, and he didn't have to fight those guys and was still able to get a Canelo fight. And this is the thing. And this puts boxing on notice. It does, you know, and I think people don't really want to acknowledge this. This put the sport in notice. You know, I made a video the other day talking about Tank and how he fights selected fighters, right? Openly, right? It puts the boxing world on notice, because if a fighter can come in and fight 4 guys for undisputed in 11 months on different platforms on top of that, it just goes to show that it can be done. When people talk about race and politics and all of this stuff, they're trying to deflect, and they're helping the promoters and the fighters get away with ducking and just not giving us a better quality sport. All of this stuff can be done. Now, I know money talks, but it doesn't have to be that way, because you can still make money giving us the fights that we're asking for. And this example here proves that we can have the fights that we want. We can get undisputed in other different sanctioning bodies. We could get it. It's just that they're not giving to us. They're feeding us little by little. You know, Bob Arum is giving us Shakur Stevenson. He's trying to give us Shakur Stevenson versus Miguel Burchell and Oscar Valdez against Navarrete. Now, we wanted Oscar Valdez since 126, but you're stretching this as long as you can. That's the promoter doing that solely. That is the promoter doing that. The fans are asking for Valdez against Shakur Stevenson, but the promoter says, nope, we're going to bring Navarrete up to fight Valdez first, and we're going to get Shakur Stevenson against a guy that was the victim of a knockout of the year, which is Miguel Burchell. We're going to give you that first. That's the promoter doing that. It's Bob's choice. Bob started that talk, not the fans. Bob said, well, I want to see Oscar fight Navarrete first. When everyone is saying, no, we want to see Shakur fight. We want to see him fight Valdez. Yeah, no, Sonny, I get you. I agree with you, man. No, it's a cool little tournament, but I'm just making it clear that these guys are running the show. You know, and if we want the undisputed thing, we could get it. It's just that we're just not, because that's not the way they're making it. You know, and Shakur, again, I expressed in my interview, I don't know if you guys heard me, but Shakur needs as much work as he can while he's at 130. You know, that's why he shouldn't rush to go. Some people want him to go to one. I said, some people want him to go to 135 right now. I'm like, for what? To fight who? You think he's going to get a fight with Teofimo Lopez and Devin Haney and all these guys right now? No, it's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. All right. So anyway, listen, I think I said everything I needed to say for this fight, man. I got Canelo winning. I think he's going to stop Plant. It should be a good fight. I love the matchup. I love anything undisputed. You know what I'm saying? I think, and I say this with every fight, I just hope everything goes right. I hope the judges get it right. If it does go to the cards, I hope the judges do the right thing. I also hope that, you know, no one gets badly hurt. I hope there's no cuts from no headbutts. I hope no one gets injured. No weird thing occurs that, that messes up the event. I hope it's just a good, clean fight, and it is what it is, and that's it. Uh, I'm definitely going live for fight night. Yes, I'm definitely going to be here to go live with you guys on fight night. I don't know if I'm going to cover the full card, but I'm going to try to. So I'll try to get in early like I normally do and cover the full card, but I'll definitely be covering the card. All right. So thank you, everyone. Make sure you please hit that like button if you haven't. Hit that thumbs up. If you are new, subscribe to the channel. And thank you for all of the donations. Again, appreciate with the donations. Donate to your favorite channels, whoever it is. If it's not me, make sure you donate. Definitely donate to me, but donate to your favorite channels too. I don't say it much, but definitely donate to your favorite channels out there, right? It's a lot of great content creators out there. And I'll see you. I'll probably make some more content because I do want to talk a little bit about Tank. No, not Tank. I want to talk about JoJo Diaz and Devin Haney. So I do want to make, there's a lot of fights coming up that's scheduled that I haven't made videos on yet. So maybe I'll make a little bit more content before the fight. But you guys will definitely see me Saturday. Thank you, everyone. Yusef, Charles Edward Cheese, Punch Quote, Lee Vincent, Self, everyone that's here. Carmen was here. The Real Mark TV, One Foot Out the Door, Ken Chin, everybody that was here today. Salute. And I'll see you guys on the next one. Peace.